Hello and welcome to the channel. We're talking about Ruckosaurus Rex, where we review and discuss all things dinosaur and other prehistoric animals. How are you guys doing? You see what we got going on today. We've got another offering from Haolonggood, and I'm kind of late to the party. I had a nice backup of items. I ended up getting a whole bunch of things together. You already saw the other day when I reviewed Cameron, the Tyrannosaurus Rex by PNSO. I've got the other two Tyrannosaurs as well, and I've got a couple of Ceratopsians. Pentaceratops is one of them, as you see right here in front of you, and Nasutoceratops will be the other Ceratopsian that I'll be reviewing, and probably by the time I get through everything that I've just described, the third Ceratopsian, which is the Pachyrhinosaurus, which is on the way, may be here by then. And I'm hoping that my sauropods from the various companies will be here as well. And I'll bring that to you as soon as I can. But today, it's all about Pentaceratops from Haolonggood, 1/35th scale. I can tell you right now, it's a little bit bigger than 1/35th scale. Haolonggood, I guess that 135 scale designation is just the universal, you know what I'm saying? These companies don't want to put 138 or 140 or something like that. Everything is 135. It's based on that unless it is actually definitively larger, and that's what they focus on. Everything usually gets the 135th scale designation, but I can tell you straight away that when we see the figure in person, it will not be, the dimensions will not measure up to a 135th scale representation of a Pentaceratops. But that's not a bad thing. You know, it's just an observation, that's all. But anyway, you see the packaging right there. There are two different versions. Haolonggood is known for giving us two different versions, two different paint jobs of the same figure, so you could either get both, because the other thing that's great about Haolonggood is their prices are not crazy, so you can go ahead and double dip if you desire. I did not. I just went with the coloration that I figured that I enjoyed the most, and you'll see which one that is when I bring that figure out. But you can see right there, you got both versions of the model right there. Looking behind us is the same thing, and I flipped it like that just so I can do this part and turn to the top of the packaging so you could see all the figures, or I should say models, that Haolonggood has put out there. Quite a bit. I've got nearly all of these figures with the exception of the two theropods on my left. I believe those are, I want to say those are Tyrannosaurs, but I know they're Tyrannosaurs. I just don't know if they're Tyrannosaurus Rex or not. I'd have to look a little bit closer to see, but I've got everything else here that they're showing. And there I was so busy looking, I forgot to keep it pointing at the camera. I'm leaving that in there because I'm only human. So there we go, looking at that. Time to take a look at the Pentaceratops. And here we have our Pentaceratops on the base. You could see what coloration I went with for my particular model. And Haolonggood has really brought it. They brought the ruckus, no pun intended, with the name there, with the quality and the accuracy, the detail, the realism of their sculpts, with their latest dino offerings. And the great thing is all of the above that I just mentioned are on par with the likes of PNSO, but their pricing is like half, if even that much, of what PNSO usually offers for similar species. Yeah, and it's just great. I'm just glad that I'm able to get them, and that at the affordable prices that they are, and that they look as good as they do. They may be out of scale for 135, which is, for me, it's kind of an issue because I'm a stickler for accuracy. My OCD will make it very difficult for me to incorporate this Pentaceratops in with any any displays I may have with true 1/35 scale dinosaurs, simply because of that. This Pentaceratops, and I'll take a measurement momentarily once I get him off the base, but this Pentaceratops is vastly oversized for 1/35 scale. And when I take the measurement, you'll see what I'm talking about. But looking at the model right there on the base, I could tell you straight away I am not mad at this acquisition. Let's get him off the base. So the first thing we're going to do is get a measurement. I spoke so much about the scale, we may as well see what's the what with that. So going from tip of the tail to the tip of the snout there, we're talking about 8¼ inches long. If we go from the tip of the tail to the tip of the brow horn, we're talking 9½ inches. You see that he's got some pretty impressive brow horns there. If you do the calculations, Pentaceratops was at least this particular species was supposed to be about a little over 19 feet long. But with those measurements, when you do the calculations, if you go by the 1/35 scale, that would make this beast 26 feet long, grossly oversized. So if you try to get it as close to accurate as possible, this would be a 1/28 scale representation of a Pentaceratops. So like I said, pretty difficult to reconcile adding this to a display with like animals that were roaming around the same time. But that's just my OCD. You know, you do what you feel, especially if it makes the display look good. You know, I could get creative, like have it further in the back so it appears smaller. You know, there are creative ways to get around it, but you know, we're not here to discuss dioramas, though maybe one day that'll be a good subject for talking about on the channel. Dioramas for our dino and other prehistoric animal models. That's something I'll think about. Let me know in that what you guys think about that in the comments below, if you will be so inclined. Anyway, let's get back to the Pentaceratops. He's been standing there feeling neglected. I'm going to bring him forward so we can get a better look at him. And the skull. As always, you guys know how I feel about ceratopsians and their skulls, as I went crazy about the skulls with the Beasts of the Mesozoic series. But this is the Pentaceratops for Haolonggood. Yeah, it's looking great there. Looking at it head on, no pun intended again. Look at the frill. Look at the frill. You got the nice design. What's great about the design is asymmetrical, which is great. That's attention to detail as far as I'm concerned, because both sides should not look identical. You got the spikes on the frills there looking nice. Got a nice bone color, and the design there, it's like a kind of like a mango, darker orange color. And you got with the brow horns, see that they start off dark and then they taper off into a bonish kind of white. The same with the nasal horn there. The eyes are kind of coming off to me like they're blue with black pupils. You got the dark tone, almost like a charcoal grayish beak there, and of course around the eyes. So pretty cool. Look at the back of the frill, more of that mangoish orange, and you got the black striping, pretty nice. And you can see the spikes going along the side there, and then just go right down the body. The base color is like a cream color, and then you've got brown spots or patches, and there's some darker spots going on within those patches, and it's carrying on down the forelimbs. You've got the paint on the toes looking nice. Look at the top there, the back there, dark brown, and then there's some sort of almost that mango's like it's the same thing. It's like a wash over that brown to bring out the scoots back there, as you can see, going right along the center of the back. And there's some black in there, black spotting which is cool. And then, of course, the cream color has been made into striping back, going from left to right there. You see what's going on. The rear, the hind leg. That left leg is lifting off the ground just a little bit to kind of show that the creature was moving, or it looks like it was getting ready to come to a halt, judging by how the front legs are static. Then, of course, you got the tail, and you've got the striping of the tail. I'm losing focus, so let me go back some. Okay, there you go. And you can see the striping along the tail. And then going along the other side there, we got the same thing. That right leg is pushing off, and you see the wrinkles right there. Very nice attention to detail by Haolonggood. And you got some more wrinkles there in front of that rear leg. Pretty good. And looking at the bottom, you've got scalation for the underbelly, and it's cream colored, but it's got that kind of mango orangey wash going along there. It does have a cloaca. Hope you could see it's right there. And so attention to detail some more. Then looking at that beak, looking really nice there. You've got the cheek spikes. It's one of the reasons why this is named Pentaceratops. It's got the two cheek spikes, the two nasal protrusions, and the two eyebrow protrusions, and of course the nasal protrusion right there, a la 5. So yeah, very nice. That is our Haolonggood Pentaceratops. Now for a couple comparisons with some of the Pentaceratops's brand mates. We've got our five-horned friend here next to our Tingenosaurus, or Shinzenosaurus, however you want to pronounce that, an ankylosaur. And I believe that it is closer to scale than the Pentaceratops is, for sure. But they still look pretty good together. The Shinzenosaurus was a smaller ankylosaur, but it was a true ankylosaur, as you can denote from the club on the end of its tail. And now we've got him next to our Ouranosaurus, which is a very nicely colored figure. I tell you, all these are by Haolonggood. So you see it for yourself. Proof is in the pudding. They don't skimp on the detail, and yet the pricing is just right there on point. And simply because I still have him out, because I have other Tyrannosaurs to review, and of course they're going to be compared to this guy. We've got the PNSO Tyrannosaurus Rex. Cameron is his name. And so in closing, talking about our Haolonggood Pentaceratops, considered 1/35 scale, is very, very nice. The coloration is great. The attention to detail is just outstanding, and the price cannot be beat. It's priced low enough that you can go ahead and get both versions. And yes, there are two versions. Haolonggood is known for putting out duplicates of their models, different paint jobs, so you could either have a choice or opt for both if you so desired. And I think that that's all good. I only went with what you see here. Didn't figure I needed to have a second one. And I'm very pleased with it. I'm glad to have it as part of my collection. It isn't true 1/35 scale. It's larger than that. It's oversized. It's about rated at about a 128 scale, and so it's massively oversized. This represents at 128. It represents about a little over 20-foot long beast, which is close enough to fudge it. But if you want to go with the 35 scale, then it's coming in at 26 feet. So that's too large. Our Pentaceratops only known to get, close in on 20 feet, and that's about it. And 26 is on the other side of 25, so that makes it closer to 30. So we don't have any evidence that they got that large. So yeah, but be that as it may, it's still a great figure, and I am glad, so glad to have it. Next up will be the Pentaceratops from Haolonggood, the next ceratopsian that I review. I'm going to be reviewing a Tyrannosaur next, and then I'll go back to the ceratopsian, and then, of course, we're going to keep flipping it like that. We're going to zigzag our way through our dinos. If I get any sauropods between now and then, they're going to get shoehorned in as well to try to keep the reviews diversified. Just because Haolonggood is consistently putting out herbivores and PNSO is consistently putting out theropods, doesn't mean that I have to follow the same suit. I'm getting them all so I can flip it, and that's what I intend to do. So until next time, guys, thanks for hanging with me. Please like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, see if we can get this channel back to popping. And yeah, until next time, guys, take care. Thanks.